What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and I am back today to make another video for you guys. This time, it's not baseball, it's not movie related. I'm talking about football. Yes, it is time to make my NFL predictions for the 2019-2020 season. As you can see by my 49ers shirt here, I am a 49ers fan. Just like I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. Once again, I'm a fan of the San Francisco team. So, yeah, I'll be rooting for them this year. But how will they do? Well, you'll find out with my predictions here on what I think of how they'll do. But anyway, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to predict the standings for all 8 divisions. I'm not going to predict any awards or anything like that because, truthfully, I don't really know as much about the awards in football as I do with baseball. So I don't really know what to expect there, but I will make my predictions for the playoffs as well and who I think is going to be the eventual Super Bowl champion in 2020. So without further ado, let's get right into the predictions. I'm going to start off with the AFC here, and we'll start off with the AFC East. So coming in 4th place, I think is going to be the Buffalo Bills. Not really much else to say here. Buffalo, I mean, they just released LaShawn McCoy. And, yeah, their defense might be good, but their offense really isn't. So, yeah, they can't seem to find a good quarterback. So, I don't really have them finishing very well. Up next, in 3rd place, I've got the Miami Dolphins. Kind of the same thing, except more the opposite. They got a better offense, and their defense is kind of questionable. I do think they pulled just ahead of the Bills, but I don't think they finished much better than them. They might even tie with them in record-wise, but finish ahead on a tiebreaker. So, yeah, again, not much to say about Miami. They're just not that great of a team. So, yeah, Miami Dolphins, 3rd place finish. In 2nd place, I've got the New York Jets. Now, the only real reason I have the New York Jets in 2nd and not in 3rd or 4th is because they have Le'Veon Bell now. They've got a much improved running back. Their defense, I think, could be a lot better than they were last year as well. And while they don't really have too many receivers, they got Robbie Anderson. I don't really know who else they have. I don't even really know who their quarterback's going to be. But nonetheless, I do think Le'Veon Bell will carry them up to a 2nd place finish. Still not making the playoffs, though. And then in 1st place, of course, who else is it going to be? The New England Patriots. I mean, if you don't have them in 1st place, then you're probably going to be wrong. I'm sorry to say that to all you Patriots haters out there, but yeah, you're probably going to be wrong if you don't have them in 1st place. I mean, Tom Brady, he's arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and this is coming from someone who absolutely loves Joe Montana and thinks that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But Tom Brady, I mean, he carried the Patriots to 6 Super Bowls. You can't really go against that. And Sony Michel, they got Sony Michel last year, and he was a great running back for them. They lost Gronkowski, so that's a little bit of a dent in the receiving core, but I think their defense will do just fine, and I think their other receivers will do just fine as well. So, yeah, Patriots, pretty easy 1st place finish in the division for me. Up next, we have the AFC West. Now, coming in 4th place in the AFC West, I have the Oakland Raiders. I know they just picked up Antonio Brown, but, I mean, you got Derek Carr throwing to him, so I don't really think that's going to help him much. I mean, they had Amari Cooper for the first half of last year and a couple years before that with Derek Carr throwing to him. Where did that get him? Absolutely nowhere. Plus, their defense isn't good. They do have Josh Jacobs, a rookie running back, that could be promising, but Raiders, they're just not ready yet. So, Raiders, 4th place finish. Coming in 3rd place, I've got the Denver Broncos. Kind of the same way, except this time they got Joe Flacco from the Ravens in the offseason. Now, they do still have Emmanuel Sanders. They also have Jake Butt returning from an injury at tight end, who could make a big impact. And they do have Phillip Lindsay at running back, who could make a big impact. But still, I don't really see them doing much better. Their defense just isn't that great. And their receiving core, aside from Sanders, really isn't that great either. So, yeah, Denver Broncos, 3rd place finish. And plus, the 2 teams ahead of them are just way too overpowered, I think, to give them any chance. So, yeah. Anyway, 2nd place, I've got the Los Angeles Chargers in 2nd place. Now, a lot of people probably have them in 1st. I have them in 2nd, and here's the reason why. Melvin Gordon is a big question mark. He is currently holding out in hopes of getting a new contract. I hate it when players do this. I really do. Le'Veon Bell did it last year, and he ended up not playing the whole season. And now Melvin Gordon, and there's another running back that's doing it this year as well, Ezekiel Elliott. We'll get to him in a little bit. But yeah, I think the Chargers will finish with the second or third best record in the entire AFC, but I think they'll still finish second in the division. Like, they're a great team. There's no denying that. Melvin Gordon's great when he's on the field. Even without him, they still have Austin Eckler, I think. And Phillip Rivers, he's getting older, but he's still throwing pretty well at times. And, of course, that receiver core is great as well. Keenan Allen, Antonio Gates, all those guys. And plus, their defense has been much improved from last year. So, yeah, I've got the Chargers in second place. Behind first place, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have the most overpowered offense in the entire NFL. They really do. Even without Kareem Hunt at running back anymore, they still have Damian Williams, who did really well as a third. I think he was their third string running back, but he did really well as their third string. And they also have they just picked up LaShawn McCoy, so yeah, they got a lot of running back depth. And if Tyreek Hill plays, like Tyreek Hill, really good receiver. Travis Kelce, another great receiver. And then Patrick Mahomes, he had a fantastic year last year. I don't think he'll quite reach the heights that he did last year, but he's still going to be a very good quarterback nonetheless. Probably going to go in the first round of many fantasy football drafts. Which, speaking of which, I really need to get a fantasy football league going. But yeah, anyway, the Chiefs. And plus, their defense is not great, but it's not terrible either. I think they'll do just fine. So, yeah, I've got the Chiefs in first place. They're also going to be finishing first place in the AFC. Up next, we got the AFC North. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more controversial in terms of who I'm picking. But hear me out here. In fourth place, I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone. I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. They're just not good anymore. Andy Dalton is pretty much washed at this point. They're not going to have A.J. Green for the first half of the season, basically, because of injury. Joe Mixon, he's a pretty solid running back, but not really much more than that. I don't even know who their other receivers anymore. Do they still have people like Tyler Eifert and Tyler Boyd and all that? And even if they did, their defense was just awful last year. So, yeah, Bengals, you're not going anywhere this year. Fourth place finish for you. Now, this is where things start to get controversial. In third place, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. Sorry, Steelers fans, you guys are finishing third this year, and here's why. They lost Le'Veon Bell, they lost Antonio Brown. Simple as that. And their defense has never been that great. Yeah, sure, Big Ben, he can still throw the ball, but let's face it, he's pretty much getting washed at this point. And James Conner, he had a pretty good season last year. I don't think it holds up this year. And Juju, I think Juju's going to be one of the more disappointing players this season. I really do. Like, Juju's got talent, but I just don't think he's going to be enough to carry the Steelers anywhere past a third place finish. So, yeah, sorry Steelers fans, but you guys are finishing third this year. In second place, I've got the Baltimore Ravens in second place. Now, you guys are probably laughing at who I have for first place, but let's talk about the Ravens real quick first. The Ravens, they were a pretty good team last year. Lamar Jackson's a breakout quarterback. They've got a big running game going. Like, they got one of the best running games in the league. Their defense was fantastic last year. Their receiver core is a little bit questionable, but I think the Baltimore Ravens will be able to pull through enough to find themselves in second place. And plus, I think they're going to do well enough to get a wild card spot as well. So, yeah, Baltimore Ravens, second place finish. And in first place, 2 years ago, if you had heard me say this, you would be laughing your asses off. I guarantee it. But I have the Cleveland Browns in first place. Yes, you heard that right. The Cleveland Browns. 2 years ago, they finished 0-16. They were the worst team in the league by a mile. Wasn't even close. They found new ways to lose. Last year, they were 7-8-1. Vast improvement. Baker Mayfield was a breakout quarterback for them. Nick Chubb, breakout running back for them. And this year, they look to be even better on offense. They still have Baker Mayfield. They still have Chubb. And plus, halfway through the season, they're going to get Kareem Hunt, who was really good for the Chiefs in the last couple years. So, yeah, they're in a good position there. Plus, they got Odell Beckham Jr., one of the biggest trades in the entire NFL last year. Odell Beckham Jr. And plus, they still have Jarvis Landry, David Njoku. Like, they're stacked on offense. The real question is their defense. I don't really know if their defense is going to be able to hold up, but I think they're definitely improved for sure. So, yeah, we'll see where they land, but I'm making a bold prediction here. The Cleveland Browns are going to win the AFC North this year. Bold prediction from me, but they're going to win the AFC North. And then finally, we got the AFC South. And this one, I mean, it's not really all that hard to predict, I don't think. At least the first place team. The second, third, and fourth place might be a little bit harder. But, yeah, anyway, I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars in fourth place. I mean, I don't know what happened to them last year. They just really faltered. Their defense just flopped completely. I don't really think they did much to improve it. Plus, they don't even have Blake Bortles anymore. I think Nick Foles is their quarterback now, or something like that. And yeah, granted, Nick Foles did carry the Eagles to a Super Bowl, but he also had a really good receiving core behind that. Jacksonville Jaguars don't really have that many good receivers. And yeah, they got Leonard Fournette at running back, but he's always been hit or miss. And plus, he can't really seem to stay healthy or just stay on the field in general. So, yeah. Jacksonville, I don't really see them doing that well this year. In third place, I've got the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, they're another big question mark. Marcus Mariota, he can't seem to stay on the field either. So, yeah, not too much to say here. Derrick Henry's a decent running back. Delaney Walker's decent at tight end. But they don't really have too many receivers. And their defense is hit or miss. So, yeah, Tennessee, I don't really see them going anywhere either. Third place. Now, second place, these guys were good last year, but they lost a huge piece this year. And I think that's definitely going to play into their playoff hopes. I've got the Indianapolis Colts in second place. Now, if I had made this video a couple weeks ago, I would have said the Indianapolis Colts would finish first, but they lost Andrew Luck to retirement. I mean, I feel for the guy. He had a lot of trouble staying on the field, so I can definitely see where Luck is coming from. Poor Colts fans, although those of you that booed him deserve to be tackled by a linebacker without pads. So, yeah. The Colts, I think losing Andrew Luck really hurts their playoff chances. Sorry, Colts fans, but that's just the way it is. Marlon Mack, he was a solid running back for them last year. They still have T.Y. Hilton. They've got I forgot who their tight end was. Jack Doyle and that other guy. I don't even remember who it was. Nyheim Hines was a pretty decent option at running back last year. Also a good pass-catching running back. Defense wasn't terrible, but I just don't see him doing well this year without Luck. So, yeah. They'll fight their way up to a second place finish simply because the Jaguars and Titans, they're not good either, but yeah, second place. And in first place, you got the Houston Texans. I mean, there's not really much else to say here. Deshaun Watson, as long as he's healthy, is a great quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins, he was literally perfect in receptions last year. Did not drop a ball. He's an amazing receiver, definitely top tier. And plus, the running backs, Lamar Miller's hurt, but I don't think that's going to hurt them too much, especially if Alfred Blue can carry the load well. And their defense was really good last year. Their defense is part of the reason they did so well. So, yeah, I think Houston will cruise to a first-place finish, and they'll be on their way to the playoffs again. So that's it for the AFC. We're going to move on to the NFC now. We're going to start off with the NFC East and work our way down. So, coming in fourth place in the NFC East, I've got the New York Giants. The New York Giants, even though they have Saquon Barkley, who was great last year as a rookie running back, they don't really have anybody else. They lost Odell Beckham Jr. Eli Manning's getting old. There's been talks that he might get traded over to the Colts, which would be a good move for the Colts. But, yeah. And plus, they drafted Daniel Jones last year. Daniel Jones, even though they needed help at receiver. They needed help at running back, or not running back, defense. They needed help in their defense. Tight end. Really, running back was the only position they didn't need help with. So, yeah. And plus, they still had Eli Manning. There was much more important positions to fill than quarterback. So, yeah, I don't see what the Giants are doing. They're going to finish fourth this year. In third place, I've got the Washington Redskins. Again, not too much to say here. I don't even know who their quarterback is anymore. Now that Alex Smith is probably never going to play again due to injuries. And their receiver core is just not good. Their running backs just aren't that good. Their defense isn't good. Like, they really don't have much going for them. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants finished ahead of them because of Saquon Barkley. But, yeah, it's a little bit more of a bold prediction. They're not going to do well this year. Washington Redskins. Actually, they have Adrian Peterson, don't they? I mean, yeah, sure. He's hit or miss now, but he's getting old too. So, yeah, we'll see where he ends up. But for now, Washington Redskins, third place. In second place, this is another pretty bold prediction, but I've got the Dallas Cowboys in second place. I think they're one of the most overrated teams in the league, and that's just me. Dak Prescott, I mean, come on. Does anybody really think Dak Prescott is a top-tier quarterback? I don't. He's not that good. And plus, with all the questions surrounding Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, if Ezekiel Elliott can get that deal done before the season starts, I think the Cowboys might have a better chance of finding themselves in first place. But if he doesn't, they just don't stand a chance. Plus, I think Amari Cooper, he was good last year for the Cowboys, but I don't see him holding up this year. Plus, their defense just isn't that good. So, yeah, Dallas Cowboys, I've got them in second place. They may or may not find themselves with a wild card spot. Personally, I don't think they're going to get a wild card spot. I think they're just going to miss it, actually. So, yeah. Dallas Cowboys, second place. And in first place, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, as long as Carson Wentz can stay healthy for once, I think the Eagles are in a good spot to finish in first place. They've got a good receiver core. They've got a good running back behind them. And Carson Wentz is a really good quarterback. We all know that. Their defense is pretty good. So I think they've got everything they need to finish in first place in the NFC East. So that's it for that. Moving on to the NFC West. This is my division, baby. This is where my 49ers are. Now, where do I have them finishing? You'll see. But starting off in fourth place, I don't think this is a surprise to anyone. Arizona Cardinals. They just don't have a good team. Kyler Murray, it'll be interesting to see how he does at quarterback, but other than that, their defense is terrible. Other than Larry Fitzgerald, their receiving core is awful. And if Kyler Murray's bad, then that's going to make it even worse for them. And like David Johnson, he can be a good running back at times, but not when the offensive line is just garbage like they have been. So yeah, Arizona Cardinals, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL for sure next year. Up next, in third place, this is going to be an interesting prediction, but I'm going bold once again. I've got the Seattle Seahawks finishing in third place. Yeah, or the Seattle Seacocks, as I like to call them, because that's what they are. They're a bunch of cocks. Yeah, I can't stand them. But yeah, I've got them in third place. I mean, Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. There's no denying that. But Chris Carson, I don't really see Chris Carson as a good running back. Now, they did just get, I forgot what his name was, that defensive guy from the Texans, Clowney or whatever his name is. They did just get him. So that might help them on defense, but I don't really see them finishing above third place in that sense, especially with how the other two teams have improved over the offseason. So, yeah, it's a bold prediction, but Seattle Seahawks, I've got them finishing in third place. And, yeah, Tyler Lockett might improve. I think, did Doug Baldwin retire? I totally forgot, but, yeah, Tyler Lockett, I think he'll be a good option at receiver, but Seattle Seahawks, I don't really think they've improved much. Third place for them. In second place, I've got my guys, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, hear me out here. Even though Jerick McKinnon is probably going to be out for most of the season, again, they vastly improved their team. They've got Tevin Coleman at running back. And plus, they still have Matt Breida and that other guy. If Matt Breida can stay healthy, I think they'll be fine. And if Jimmy G can stay healthy, then I think the 49ers will be in a decent position. Plus, they just improved themselves on defense immensely with the draft and during this offseason. I think they definitely improved a lot on defense. And, like, the receiver core, not bad. George Kittle, he was a top-tier tight end last year. I think he'll be the same way again. So, yeah, I think the 49ers, they're going to be the sixth-place wildcard spot team, and they're going to finish second in the division. So, it's a bold prediction. It's probably my boldest prediction, but I can definitely see it happening. And in first place, I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone. They were one of the best teams in football last year, and I think they're going to be one of the best teams again this year. We got the Los Angeles Rams. And as much as I hate them, they're going to finish first pretty easily, I think. They just got too good of a team. Jared Goff's great. Their receiving core is great. Brandon Cooks did really well. Cooper Kupp. There was that other really good receiver too. Todd Gurley was a top tier running back last year. And if he can stay healthy, he's going to be top tier again, I think. And plus that defense. There's just, like, Aaron Donald's pretty much unstoppable on defense. So, yeah, Rams, they're definitely going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. First place finish for sure. Up next, we got the NFC North. Now, this was another interesting division for them. This was another interesting division. Like, it was a lot harder to predict, but, I mean, we'll see how it does. In fourth place, I got the Detroit Lions. Not too much to say about them. Matt Stafford's aging quickly. They really need to move on from him. I don't know why they haven't yet. And, like, their defense is pretty decent, I think, but, I mean, they don't really have much else going for them. So, yeah, not too much to say here about the Lions finishing fourth. In third place, I've got the Green Bay Packers finishing in third. And simple as that, they really did nothing to improve themselves last year. Aaron Rodgers seems to have trouble staying on the field nowadays. And, like, their running back situation, Aaron Jones is decent, but I don't think he's top tier. Devontae Adams is a top tier receiver for sure, but I don't think that's going to be enough to carry them. And their defense just isn't that good. So, yeah, I don't really see them finishing higher than third. Sorry, Packers fans. The Packers seem to be a team that always does really well, but I don't really see it coming from them this year. So, yeah, Packers, third place. In second place, I've got the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, they got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was a really good pickup for them last year. He's done really well for them so far. And, of course, you still have Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, who are both top-tier receivers. Their running back, Dalvin Cook, as long as he can stay healthy. And even if he doesn't, Latavius Murray was a pretty good option for them last year. So they've got a pretty good offense overall. And their defense isn't that bad either. So I can see them doing well. I might even see them finishing first, but there is one other team that I think is going to trump them. And that, of course, first place, I've got the Chicago Bears. I mean, the Chicago Bears were a great team last year. Mitchell Trubisky is a breakout quarterback. Their receiving core is good. Their running back situation is pretty good. But the main reason they're going to finish first is that defense. The defense is top tier for sure. I think were they the best defense in the NFL last year? They were definitely up there. But yeah, the Chicago Bears, Khalil Mack on defense is just unstoppable. So yeah, the Bears are going to do really well this year. I think they're easily going to take the division. So yeah, Chicago Bears, first place. And then finally, we have the NFC South. And in fourth place, again, no surprise here, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think, are going to finish in fourth. I mean, Jameis Winston, he's so hit or miss. It's hard to tell what he's going to do for them. And their defense just isn't that good. O.J. Howard's like really the only good bright spot for them. Running back situation, meh. So yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, fourth place finish. Not too much to say. In third place, I've got the Carolina Panthers. Now, it was tough to pick between these guys and my second place team, but the Panthers, I mean, they're probably going to be improved, I think, but I just don't see them improving quite enough. So, yeah, not too much to say about them. Cam Newton's a good option. Christian McCaffrey had a great year last year at running back, but I think Greg Olsen is aging. Their other receivers aren't that great either. So, yeah, Carolina Panthers, got them in third place. In second place, and sneaking out a wild card spot, I've got the Atlanta Falcons finishing in second place. I like what I saw from them last year. Their defense wasn't great, but their offense was fantastic. Matt Ryan was really good for them last year, after having a bit of an off year the year before. Although I do think choking against the Patriots in the Super Bowl might have had something to do with that, but they did bounce back last year, and I think they'll do really well again this year, enough to get a wild card spot. Matt Ryan's a great quarterback. They don't really have Tevin Coleman anymore, but they still have Devonta Freeman, who I think is great. Julio Jones, a top-tier receiver for sure. And Austin Hooper, good tight end option. So, I mean, if they can get that defense improved, they're definitely going to be in for a good postseason run, I think. So, yeah. Atlanta Falcons, I've got them in second place. And then in first place, no surprise here, we got the New Orleans Saints. I mean, they were arguably the best team in the NFL last year. Drew Brees, he still has it at age 40 or whatever he is. He's like the Tom Brady of the NFC, pretty much. Only difference is the Super Bowls. He just hasn't gotten to as many Super Bowls. But nonetheless, Drew Brees, still a top-tier quarterback. Their running back situation, although Mark Ingram did get traded over to the Ravens, they still have Alvin Kamara, who was fantastic for them last year, running and passing wise too. Michael Thomas just signed a huge contract with them. I think he's going to do really well at receiver. Their defense was not as great, but still really good. But yeah, nonetheless, New Orleans, they have one of the best teams in the entire NFL. So I think New Orleans is easily going to finish in first place here. So that's it for my division predictions. Up next, we have our playoff predictions. And starting off with the AFC here. Yeah, I'm going to start with the AFC here. So in first place, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think that's too hard to predict unless you have the Chargers winning that division. But yeah, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs in first. In second place, I've got the New England Patriots. Pretty hard to bet against Tom Brady. So yeah, Patriots in second. In third place, I've got the Houston Texans. And then in fourth place, I've got the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, who would ever have thought I would be saying the Cleveland Browns are going to make the playoffs and win a division? Who would have thought I would be saying that this year? But anyway, moving on. The two wildcard positions, I've got the Ravens in fifth place with the first, or no, I've got the Chargers in fifth place with the first wildcard spot. And then in sixth place, I got the Baltimore Ravens. So yeah, that would mean that the Baltimore Ravens would be playing against the Houston Texans. And I think like as good as Baltimore is, and as much as I want to see them move on, I think Houston's just got too powerful of an offense. They've got the better offense. Defensively, they're pretty similar, but yeah, I just think the Texans are gonna beat them pretty good. So yeah, Texans are gonna be moving on to the division series. And then up next we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And as much as I want to pick the Cleveland Browns to win this game, I just think the Chargers are too good. Again, I said earlier that they're probably going to be finishing in the AFC with the second or third best record behind the Chiefs and maybe another team. But so yeah, I just think the Chargers are too good. They're going to win their respective wild card game. So yeah, that leads us to the division series. So that'll lead us to the Chiefs playing against the Chargers, and this is going to be a really good game for sure. I think this will be a really good game. I do think either team has a chance to win, and we'll see two games again with these teams playing against each other in the regular season. But I think the Chiefs are going to be in for a redemption year after losing to the Patriots last year. I've got the Chiefs winning this game in a close battle with the Chargers. So, yeah. Up next, we have the Patriots versus the Texans. And again, I think this is going to be a really good game, but I mean, I've betted against Tom Brady in the past, and I've paid for it. So, yeah, I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady this year. I think I've got the Patriots winning this game, which leads us into the AFC Championship game between the Chiefs and the Patriots. Again, I think this is going to be a great game, similar to what we got last year. And as much as I want to see the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl again, I just can't bet against Tom Brady. It's just really hard to do that. So I've got the Patriots going back to the Super Bowl once again. So yeah, Patriots, they're going to win the AFC Championship game, and they're going to be in the Super Bowl once again. Moving on to the NFC. Now, the NFC is a little bit harder to predict, but overall, I've got the Rams finishing in first. I've got the Saints finishing in second. In third place, I've got the Chicago Bears. And then in fourth place, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming up in our wild card spots, I've got the Falcons in fifth place, and I've got the San Francisco 49ers in sixth place. So, starting off, we've got the wild card series. So we've got the San Francisco 49ers going to play the Bears in Chicago. And I think this will be a lot better game than a lot of people think, but I think that Bears defense is just going to overpower the 49ers in pretty much every way. So as much as I want to pick the 49ers to go on, I got to pick the Bears here. Sorry, Niners. I hope you guys can prove me wrong, but I think the Bears defense is just too good for the 49ers offense. So yeah, I've got the Chicago Bears winning this one. And up next, we have our fourth place team, which, who did I pick? I had the Eagles versus the Falcons, another rematch game. And I think this time, depending on if Carson Wentz can stay healthy or not, I think the Eagles can win, but I've actually got the Atlanta Falcons winning this game. So, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, I think that offense is ultimately going to carry them past the wild card round into the division series. So, yeah, with that in mind, I've got the Atlanta Falcons winning this game, which leads us into the division series. So, first up, we've got Chicago versus, who did I have in second? The Saints. So, we got the Bears versus the Saints, and I think, honestly, as much as I want to see the Bears do well, I think it's going to be the Saints. I think Drew Brees, he's just, like, he had an MVP season last year. I think he's going to be very similar this year. So, yeah, the Saints, I think, are going to beat the Bears, moving on to the NFC Championship game. And that leaves us with the Rams versus the Falcons. This is going to be an interesting game, but this is going to be my upset pick here. I'm going to go with the Falcons. And it's a bold prediction, but I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons winning against the Los Angeles Rams here. A little bit of bias might come into play here, but I think the Atlanta Falcons can do it. I really do. I think they can do it. If they can get past that first wild card game, I think they can find themselves in the AFC Championship game playing against the New Orleans Saints. So, yeah, this is my upset pick, but I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons here, which leads us to the NFC Championship game between the Saints and Falcons, and I don't think this one's too hard to predict. I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. That offense is just unstoppable, it seems like. So, yeah, not too hard of a prediction. The Saints are going to win the NFC Championship game. They're going to win the NFC Championship and go on to the Super Bowl, which leads us into our final prediction of the season, the Super Bowl, between the New England Patriots and the New Orleans Saints. Two oldies, Tom Brady versus Drew Brees. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good, fun game. And I know I've said don't bet on Tom Brady before, but I think the Saints are ultimately going to overpower them. We haven't seen the Patriots repeat Super Bowl championships in a while. So, yeah, I think the Saints are going to come out on top, and I think this is going to be the year Drew Brees retires, and I think he's going to do it going out on top just like Peyton Manning did, winning a Super Bowl championship. So, yes, I have the Saints as your 2020 Super Bowl champions. The champions of Super Bowl, what is it, like 53 now, I think? Or no, it's 54, I think. I think it's 54, actually. Yeah, it's Super Bowl 54. I've got the Saints winning Super Bowl 54 over the Patriots. It's going to be a good game nonetheless. But, yeah, Saints are going to come out on top. So there's my NFL predictions for you guys. What did you guys think about it? Make sure to let me know in the comments below what your predictions are and what you think of my predictions. Do you think Patriots-Saints is a good Super Bowl? Do you think it's going to be a bad Super Bowl like last year's Super Bowl was? Let me know down in the comments below what you think. So, yeah. And if you do have awards predictions, feel free to leave those down as well. Make sure to drop a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. And until my next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace. Go Niners!